Hey guys. Yeah, sorry again for last week. I always sit down to record. Always. It's just sometimes it just doesn't work out. Baby's awake, dog's losing its mind. I don't know. It just doesn't. And this internship, it is just mind-blowingly hard. So, I talk a little bit about supporting new moms because a lot of people don't, and it just really sucks. And then also, I get a little vulnerable and I discuss, my issues with alcohol because I do have issues with it. And so we just dive a little into that. Anyway, I'm so happy that you're here. I always love to sit down and talk. It is just very, very therapeutic for me and something that I enjoy. And I'm so happy that you're here and on this journey with me. As always, just contact me if you want to. We can catch up and talk. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye. I'm back with season 2. It's Basement Philosophies, and I'm your host, Brittany. Here, we won't follow the script of the mainstream media. We'll talk about real life, real problems, and now that I'm a new mom, we're going to talk about that too. Welcome back, and I'm so happy that you're here. Let's get to it. Hello, beautiful people. So, sorry about last week. This internship is turning out to be way more than I thought it would. If I knew it was going to be like this, I would have given myself another semester. Me and my friend were talking about, just being a mom, and she was having a hard mom moment. I've been having hard mom moments like every day for like a month. No, like for the past couple weeks, it's been really hard. I don't know. She just doesn't want to sleep anymore, and we're just really tired over here. And it's so frustrating because, when you have a newborn, that's all that matters. And you just kind of start missing, I miss my partner, because my whole life is the baby. And now with this internship, I would have just given myself another semester off because my baby, she needs my attention. She needs me and I need her. And this internship requires that I be there too. And it's almost like there's not enough of me to give to both things. And then my poor partner, I stay up late just so I can spend some time with him. Because otherwise I don't get to see him or anything. So I kind of have to lose sleep in order to see him. And I don't want to start doing that. But it's just all overwhelming. And I just have this supervisor that is just not supportive of me having a child, which is strange because she has children of her own. So it really is frustrating when they don't care about. I think this lady would expect me to get childcare, pay for childcare randomly for her 30-minute meetings. I don't know. I just she keeps adding them, and yeah, I can go to the meeting. That's fine. Just can my baby come? Because it's a Zoom call, and she does not want my baby there. Am I out of line to think that's absurd? I don't know. Maybe I am. Because, I am super hormonal. But it's a Zoom call and she doesn't want my baby to be there. And I'm like, God. I mean, I know it doesn't matter because I have someone that can help me out. It's just the point of it all. But yeah, last week, I tried to record as always. I always try. And then I remember that particular day, I finally got a chance to record. And then my dog comes in here needing my attention. The baby wakes up. She starts crying. The dog is losing her mind. I then in return start crying because I was just at my wits end that day. When you You have nothing for yourself as a mother, especially in the beginning. And I know I'm going to have to make the time and have the talk with my partner, and I just don't want to. And it shouldn't be like that, but I'm sorry. Like, it is. I don't live in one of those households that everything is equal, because you know what? He works and he brings home money, and I have an unpaid internship, and I'm supposed to take care of the house and the baby. It was just in the plan, but it's just not working out anymore. And I just remember, like, she finally fell asleep, and she's just not sleeping. Her naps are like 20 minutes long. It's killing me. And I finally got her to sleep, and she just would not stay asleep. And then I remember just throwing down my headphones, and I'm like, all I wanted was just this hour to do this thing that I love just for me. And I don't even get that. And I was just so frustrated in that moment. And I've been having a lot of those moments. And, my friend too, she's also going to school, but she has like, I think 3 or 4 kids. And, she was having a moment, and she's just like, I can't do this. And I was having my moment, so I didn't see it till the next day. But I totally get it. But after you have a night's sleep, you wake up and you're fine. But like, I remember that same night, I was like, I'm quitting my internship. I don't want to do this, because these meetings and the baby not sleeping and me having to leave her, and oh God, it's just, it's hard. And then to not have, I have support, but not like physical, like here support, like with someone that, no, I have like my sister, she's there for me 100%. Thank God. She's my savior, my best friend. I love you, Jamie. But she's been helping me out so much. Thank God. I love the way the universe works sometimes. Otherwise, I don't know what I would be doing. I don't know how I would do school without her, because it wouldn't be possible. So shout out to my sister. You are the bomb. Because I wouldn't be able to do it. Like, I have a meeting in the morning, my daughter can't go. So weird to me. And my grandmother would watch her sometimes, but she's doing something that day, or she's doing something. Like, I don't know what I would do if my sister were not available. I just don't know. And I suppose I shouldn't complain about school because my sister is there, but I think it's just the principle of the thing. So I don't know. I'm just really just buckling down and just trying to get my hours. That's it. And I wouldn't say my schedule is just so weird. Like, it's just weird. I need it to be set. I know it won't really be, but it's just all very weird right now. And everything just feels up in the air, and I'm not established, and I hate that feeling. And now is not the time for tough love. So please don't come at me and be like, well, buck up, you're your mom. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I get that already, and I'm just not having. I don't like it. I think moms should be more supportive of moms. Like me and my best friend were talking, and she'll listen to me vent and stuff. She's like, sometimes you just want a hug, and that's it. And she's so right about that. Like, when you're down and you're having a hard time, the last thing you need to hear is something toxic or unsupportive. And I literally just stopped talking to certain people because I can't hear it right now. Like, the last thing you want to hear when you're having a bad moment is, like, oh, well, you should be doing this, or you're doing this wrong, or, you would be surprised at the shit that people say to me. And moms don't need that. I'm going to tell you right now. Moms don't need it. Sometimes they need to vent. Sometimes they just need you to listen. Sometimes they just need you to validate what they're feeling. They don't need you to tell them what they are doing wrong. So, seems like common sense, but for some it's not. Hey, don't kick a new mom while she's down, okay? I'm just going to put that out there. I think we can all be on the same page. And like, if you have a friend that's a mom, just, go hug her and go help her if she's your friend, But if you don't want to be there for her, then leave her alone. Like, I know a lot of people in my life before, they're like, that's not my kid. Like, I did my time kind of thing. Like, if you're like that, then do her a favor and leave her alone. In my opinion. Like, but to all the friends that want to support and be there for the new mom, do that for her because she needs you. It's amazing how much support you don't get as a new mom. And, people tell you that it's hard, but you just don't really know how hard until you're in the middle of it. And, our society, people had it right, and people have it right in different villages. They say it takes a village. In America, we go at things alone, and we weren't built to do that. That's not how people are. We're meant for connection. We're meant for, relationship. We're not meant to do it by ourselves. And people pride themselves on, they wear their exhaustion like as a badge of honor. And that's fine if you want to be the person to do it all. But I'm not that woman. Like, I'm not the woman that needs out. I want to have a career. I do. I want to do what I'm doing, but I want to be there with my daughter and raise her more. I feel like that's more important to me. So having to do this internship, but also like having to leave my daughter, it's hard. It's so hard for me, and I hate it. I seriously hate it so much. And so like my schedule is so weird because I refuse to leave her for a full day, and I'm just not going to. I'm sorry, my daughter is more important than anybody ever. So while I want to do both things, there has to be a balance, and I think I'm struggling to find that balance, and it's very, very hard to be an intern. It's just so overwhelming, and I'm trying. It's just really hard, especially when there's certain people who don't get it, and then on top of that, I'm originally, I am an introvert. I have been that's just who I am. And I don't get any time to myself. If I do, it's, I can, if my daughter decides to sleep, I can get, like a 20-minute bath in, but it's still not the same because I'm watching her waiting for her to wake up. And not to say like my partner wouldn't let me have a bath. Like, I can ask, but I want him to rest too. And, it doesn't really go the same way though, because guys don't think like that. Like he's helpful. He's helpful in getting better, but that's not how guys think. And so it's nothing against him. I would have to have a talk with him and be like, set him down and be like, I need this. I'm losing my mind. And I am slowly starting to lose my mind, but I'm not miserable. It sounds like I am. It's just that being a mom is hard. And we live in a society where people are not understanding of that because, in certain cultures, women, there's a real sisterhood there. Women are together. They I mean, they bleed together, they take care of each other. And when there's a child, everybody takes care of that child. And I think there's something so beautiful in that. And we're just so not like that. We're so far from that. And I mean, we live in a society where you're not even allowed to talk about your period. You know, people are grossed out. In my own household, like, none of that stuff was talked about. It's just like, why is your period taboo? But, you know, and like I said, being a woman and being pregnant, it has made me honor my feminine energy so much more. Like, as I always say, women are miraculous. Our bodies are miraculous. And yeah, I know, like, I used to hate my period, which I haven't had one in over a year because, you know, I was pregnant and now I'm breastfeeding. And I guess because I breastfeed exclusively, I just haven't had a period. So I'm not complaining, but I used to hate my period. But like, now that I'm learning about my body and learning about, you know, all of that, you know, I just think it's also beautiful. And if you're having painful periods, I'm learning that means something's wrong. Your body's telling you something's wrong here. Let's try to fix it. And I'm so on board with healing my body. Now, is it a struggle? Yes, because breastfeeding makes me starved. Like, oh my God, I am so hungry all the time. And I'm trying to eat healthy, but I just can't get full. And I need to be full. And I know, like, not being able to get full is also like a side effect of something. And I'm learning a lot about parasites and how we have them, and maybe like an overabundance of them. And it's just really grossing me out. Like, the idea of them parasites, you know, there's some that they serve their purpose, but I think that because our food supply is so fucked up, like our bodies are, and there's some really probably gross stuff happening inside. So I'm just kind of researching a lot right now because I am breastfeeding and I don't want to do anything that could harm, you know, Quinn. So I can't detox or take certain things yet, but when I stop breastfeeding, it's on. It's on. And I'm talking like parasite cleanse on. I'm so psyched, but also freaked out because I don't want to see what's going to come out of my butt. But if anybody is listening and you have tips on snacks that will make me full, like, please send it over. Because I'm so hungry. And what's happening is I'm trying to clean up my diet and I'll be healthy all day. And then at night, I'll eat 5 bowls of cereal. Literally eat 5 bowls of cereal, and not like good for me cereal. Bad. Like, I had Honey Smacks the other night. So good, by the way. Or like Captain Crunch. Like, these really nasty processed cancerous foods. And I'm like shoving it in my mouth because I just can't get enough to eat. And, you know, you have to have the calories to make the milk, or the supply goes down. And my milk supply will go down so fast. Like, if I have wine one night when the baby's asleep, my milk supply will just like cut in half. It's crazy. So I'm just kind of like not even going to touch alcohol, which is good for me because it's no surprise that I struggle with alcohol. And, you know, you think that it makes you a better person. You know, you're under this notion that it makes you more creative or livelier or gives you like guts to say things that you wouldn't normally say. And in a sense, that's true. Like, it's like when I have alcohol in my system, I get so excited and I have all of these ideas and I want to do all of these things. And then, you know, it feels so good. And at the very beginning, but because it's addictive and I'm a lush, I'll just keep on drinking and keep on drinking. Then I'm drunk. And then I wake up feeling hungover and shameful. It's just, you know, if I could just stop at the first 2, then I would be fine. But I don't. I just keep on going because me and my husband, would get to talking and we start laughing. We're having so much fun and we just talk all night long. It's one of my favorite things about my partner is that we can just talk all night and we just get so into it and we just, give me some more wine. Give me some more wine. And then we're just drunk, But those are some of my favorite nights. Like I remember we moved in to this new house and we couldn't believe we were here. The baby was sleeping between us and we were just drinking wine and talking about everything. We were up and we had to work the next day, but I love those nights. And, but it's just like, why, like for me, I'm trying to explore, like, why does alcohol have to be a part of it? And why does my body crave it so much? Like, what am I struggling with? And is it even a struggle? So I don't know, like, is what I'm exploring, like, because I don't wake up and I have to have a drink and I don't crave a drink every day. Sometimes I do because I'm just like, I want to relax. And nothing else working, and then it's just kind of like, but why? Why is that there? Why do I feel like I need it to relax sometimes? Because there's something to be said about that. But like when I am trying to find the root cause of something, I always start there. Like why I start to ask the questions. So when it comes to my alcohol intake, I have to ask the question, like, why do I feel like I need it? Well, like, where is this addiction stemming from? Because it is an addiction, right? Just like my addiction to coffee. I could just drink hundreds of glasses a day. Like right now I'm drinking coffee. But, like, you have to start asking yourself the question. So in the moments when I try not to do it because, like, if I'm hungover and I'm feeling like shameful and guilty, that's not the time to ask those questions because your answers are going to be skewed, in my opinion. So when I'm feeling better and I'm starting to meditate or I have a moment, right now I don't, but when I will and do, I just kind of contemplate on what's there, like what's going on, like what am I trying to numb, because it's something. And for me, it's probably the anxiety and the nonstop that is your psyche when you're a mom. And now I'm an intern and there's that. And it's just so much that, alcohol just kind of quiets all that down. And, there's so many other things that I just kind of push back because I don't want to think about it. So, and then there's always that, as a mom, you're always worried 100% of the time. You don't want anything bad to happen to your baby. And I also don't want anything bad to happen to my family. I don't want something to break us up. I don't want us to be torn apart. And there are so many things that could happen. And there's so many mistakes that could be made. And I just worry about them all the time. I'm worried all the time about so many different things. And sometimes I think that's where the alcohol intake comes from. And that's why I go overboard, because for a moment I can not feel that and it feels really good. But there's a way to get there in a healthy way, not alcohol, because alcohol, people have so many different beliefs of what it can be. And you could go, the spiritual route with it if you want, because I look at everything in a spiritual way, because they say, I say they because I don't really know. It was just like, I read these things in different places, but it has been said that alcohol cuts you off. Not completely, because you can't, because then I guess that means you die. But our soul, which resides in us, of course, and our soul is connected to source, That's my belief. But when we have alcohol, it cuts us off from that collective significantly, not completely, but significantly. And that's why they call it like the devil's juice, because the devil, the way it like, and you can see like, it was like mind-blowing. Something was so mind-blowing about how it's made and the components of it and how it had to do with like the devil and stuff. I don't know. It was really creepy. I'll have to find it. But that's if you want to get really woo-woo with it. And so they call it like the devil's juice because it cuts you off from source. And you can, in a sense, be possessed, which that sounds crazy, right? But not if you look at it, like, not if you really look at it, because there have been times when I've been inebriated and I became a crazy person, like not even me. And, I've broken a sink. It's like my most embarrassing moments. I have went insane. I've stopped breathing. I've destroyed my own house because I was overtaken by something. And it was just the craziest times. And you wake up the next day, and I wasn't necessarily blackout, I remember, but it was just like you wake up feeling so embarrassed and so shameful. And these things happened like in really dark periods of my life, not anytime like recently, but within the past 7 years, this has happened. And it's like I can still think of them and I feel so shameful, right? And so embarrassed. But when you look at it, and not to make excuses, like I am not here to spiritually bypass, like, or to say, oh, it wasn't me, a demon took over. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are components of alcohol that make you lose control. However, I chose to drink it in the first place. I need to take accountability for my actions, right? And I do. And that's why I think it hurts so bad. And I can't even believe I'm talking about it so openly because it's so embarrassing. It's so shameful. And but that's like a whole other thing, is you have to learn to work with the guilt and the shame. And you have to learn to forgive yourself and not hate yourself for it. Like, because if I could go and like, yeah, I think about these moments and I think about the people that have seen me this way. And I'm so embarrassed, even right now. And that's probably another reason why I drink, because that embarrassment, it's stuck inside me and I have to find a way, because, the body holds the score, the body holds your trauma. The body holds all of these emotions that you keep pressing down. And a lot of people don't believe that, but it is so, so true. That if emotion gets stuck in the body, it's going to come out in specific ways. That's why I'm so into body work. That's why that's why my goal in this mental health field is to bring together physical and mental, because it's all so connected. It's so connected. And it's just, and I learned that because I did it myself. I go to my therapist and then I do the body work myself. It's 2 separate components. And I've done the research myself. And I've only just, I'm only at the tip of the iceberg, right? And there's just so much information there. But that's why I do the yoga. That's why I try to move my body. You don't have to do yoga. Just move, go outside, go for a walk, do a dance, anything to get the body moving, because you don't want that stuff stuck in you, because it does. It feeds all of these addictions, right? If I'm feeling embarrassed, I don't want to feel that. So I'm going to drink alcohol. So for a moment, I can get, reprieve from that embarrassment, because if I face it, it's going to hurt too bad. It's like your body tries to protect you because, people get mad at the brain, your thoughts and everything like that. But what you don't understand is that your brain is just trying to protect you. People don't, people say to kill the ego and all that. You don't kill the ego. You learn to work with it, because ultimately all of that is just trying to protect you from something that, happened maybe in the past and it hurt really bad. Any trauma, minor, major, whatever, it's all there. And if you don't process it, you don't integrate it, it starts to manifest in different ways. And we try to protect ourselves. We don't want to hurt. Our purpose here on earth is to be joyful. And golly, the world makes it hard, right? Our one purpose here is to be joyful. And it's like the hardest thing. I mean, look at the world. Look at all of the evil here. That's why I don't know if people believe in, I don't know what people believe Earth is. So some people say, we're from different we're from different galaxies. I don't know. I'm just telling you, like people believe these things. So if we come from different galaxies and Earth is just another school so we can evolve. But Earth is like one of the hardest schools. I've heard someone talk about that, and it made so much sense. I don't know if I believe that, but it made so much sense that Earth is like a school to evolve, but it's like one of the hardest schools. And I believe it. It's effing hard, right? Life is hard. And life is painful. And it's like, I don't know, like I'll do things that bring me joy, but to stay in a state of joy, it's hard. It's impossible. Like I can't, it's not impossible, but I don't know like how people do it. But I do know that in an effort to find my joy, in an effort to be able to be in a bad situation and remain calm, that's like my ultimate goal. And it's so, it's so easy to preach about finding your joy, right? It's so easy to talk about meditation and calming the mind and all that. But what if you have a whole bunch of shit going on? What if everything around you is burning and I'm over here talking about, oh yeah, find your peace. Like, shut up, like, no. So, I think the true practice and what I'm learning now is, Brittany, keep your peace in those overwhelming moments. And I'm not saying like, don't not cry because you want to keep your peace. No, if you want to cry, you need to cry because you need to process that. You need to integrate that so you're not holding it in. I know so many people who just because they've lived through something, they believe that that's dealing with it. And it's just so sad because, you can have childhood trauma and never ever process it. And it'll show up in your adult years, whether that's a personality disorder or some other mental disorder or even, cancer, tumors or things like that. And, my belief is that cancer is a mix between your toxins in the body, an overabundance of your body's overrun by toxins, and also unintegrated emotions. Now, nobody's really probably going to agree with me there, but that is my thought. Because, I've read so many, I love to read stories of people that heal naturally from, their cancers. I heard a story of a man who was like stage 4 stomach cancers. And he went to like Mexico or something, and they flooded his system with basically vitamins, mostly vitamin C. And within 2 weeks' time, he was completely healed. Like, that's real. But, our medical system would not exist if people started to learn to heal their bodies. So that's the journey I'm on. But keep in mind, it's so hard to do that and it's so expensive, right? So what I'm doing right now is I'm just learning about my body and I'm just trying to eat a little better. But even that has its shortcomings because why? Our food system sucks. The food we eat is full of pesticides. So what we had to learn is to learn to detox our bodies. We had to open those pathways, and there's certain ways to do that because you can detox, but those pathways might be clogged, so you're still holding it in. So for me, what I've learned is I'm not diagnosing myself, but I'm just kind of, learning. So, I work, I'm starting to work out and, unless I'm in a sauna, it's so hard for me to sweat a lot. So I can sweat around my midsection, but my head and stuff, it takes a while for me to start sweating and detoxing that way. And that is a sign of hypothyroidism. And because I have also a perpetual low temperature all the time, it's always 97 point something or lower. Also a sign of a sluggish thyroid. And so I'm not I do want to go get a test, a panel done at a functional doctor of deficiencies and things like that, because I'm not going to start taking a bunch of supplements when I don't need them. You can get lost in the supplement world. So, but I know that there's stuff going on with me, and I also know that plays a role, in my addictions, different, my food, the way I engorge myself because I just can't get full. I heard that's a sign of parasites. Ugh, so gross. But, I'm just kind of researching, or, even parasites also feed, they feed off of nasty processed sugars. So, ew, and then, also alcohol, you could, there are physical sides to addiction that you should also look at. There's an addiction, there's a reason that it's there, but also there's physical things that, are happening to the body that make you crave. So parasites also crave alcohol. So it's not just the addiction, it's also what's happening physically in your body. So, while you need to take accountability, understand that there are also things going on that you might not be aware of that also feed that addiction. It makes it so hard. I need a drink. No, maybe it's those parasites being I want a drink. It's so gross, but that can happen. That is something that can happen. That's a really real thing. That's why I believe that AA is a powerful tool when it comes to recovery. I do not think that it is by all means a cure. AA teaches you to live with your addiction and to fight it. And me, I want to know more. I want to know why I have the addiction. I want to know where it stems from. And I want to get to the root cause. And AA doesn't do that. AA helps you forgive yourself and, kind of live with this addiction, even though you're struggling every day. That's not really recovery to me when you're waking up and it's so hard to be sober. Don't you want to know why? Why is it so hard for me to be sober? What is it that makes me believe I have to have my fix, And that's what I want to know. And I want to face those things so that I wake up not wanting to have a drink or not wanting to eat terrible foods. I want to heal my body enough so that I crave the good stuff. And that's just where I'm at. You think about something like alcohol and how it, like I said, it cuts you off from source. And that's why you turn into these people. You're not smarter. You're not better on alcohol. You think you are, but when you really look at it, maybe for a minute, that first drink or maybe two, and I'm I can say what I need to say. It gives me the courage, but all of that is already in you, but you have to find it organically. And it would be even more powerful if you do it that way, not take a quick drink and then spout off what you need to say, right? You can find a creative outlet organically without the drugs or the alcohol, right? And while I do want to dabble in plant medicine, not marijuana. That's not what I'm talking about. Like, I'm really into this mushroom thing. Like, I'm really into it. Like, I'm really looking into it. And I know people are so, why? Don't do that, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not saying I want to do shrooms either. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Microdosing is a thing. I'm so into it. I'm reading so much about it. I'm just obsessed with mushrooms right now. And I don't do anything. I'm just looking because, I'm breastfeeding and I'm just not going to mess with Quinn right now. And that's another thing, like how I would never dream of hurting my baby. And like, well, what if, like I had too many drinks, but my baby needed to eat and I didn't have a spare bottle. Like, why would I risk that? Because when I'm not drinking, there is nothing I would do to hurt my baby. And then like when I am, I'm just like, oh, it's fine. And it's like, no, it's not fine. Like, how is it that me and my baby, we're actually physically connected. And like, we're inseparable, me and my baby, and I want to keep it that way. And I know that she's going to go and be her own person, but right now we're inseparable. When she's hungry, my boobs will actually like tingle, right? But if I started drinking, that ends. Why would I do that? And if I have a drink, it changes your brain. It changes the way you think. You don't want to you're just more relaxed with how you keep your baby safe. And I'm not willing to go there. Like, I'm not. So, but like, there are some days where I'm just like, I want a glass of wine. It's been such a hard day. I want a glass of wine. But why? Why? And those are the moments that I'm starting to really, really look at, because I'm not going to drink, while I'm breastfeeding my daughter. And I don't want to drink after. I don't think, because like I said, it changes the way you think and keep your baby safe. And it's just kind of like, and it changes, like my baby deserves me to wake up feeling joyous and happy to live that day with her. And we're dancing and we're singing. If I'm waking up not feeling my best, that's not fair to her. It's not fair to me. I want to build like this magical life. And alcohol, it can't be a part of that, because the world can be so magical. But alcohol is the one thing that cuts you off from source. And after reading that, it makes so much sense. And I totally believe that. Because, if we want to look at the pandemic in a spiritual way, which I have already picked it apart as much as I can, and I do think there was a bigger agenda there. I know, conspiracy theory. Sorry, that's who I am. And you don't have to believe it. But for me, I do. I believe there was something bigger going on. I believe they are trying to, make the population small, like population control. I believe that's a thing. And I think they do it in a lot of different ways. But how crazy is it that during that time, they did every protocol to make people sicker? You weren't allowed to go outside. You weren't allowed to breathe oxygen. They wanted you masked. They don't want you around people 6 feet apart. All of these things, our bodies are meant to be around people. Like, I know as an introvert, it's even hard for me to say, but when I'm around my people, even if I have just a conversation with my people, like I feel energized. Like, I'm starting to find my girls. I'm starting to find my sisterhood. Like, through my birth, I've found so many women that I'm obsessed with. Like, they're just my friends, my people. They accept me for who I am, and we're there for each other. And my body craves that relationship, So when we're 6 feet apart, we're not getting that energy that we need. And, we need the sunlight. The sun is healing. And they would have you believe that it's not. So the sun is one of the most healing things. But what does the CDC and these people say? The sun, it causes cancer. We must put on the toxic sunscreen so that we don't get cancer from the sun. Everything thrives from the sun. The plants grow. We get vitamins from the sun. So go outside, go get some sunlight, All of these things that we're taught, you have to unlearn them. Like during the pandemic, what could you do? You could get food ordered, and you could now get alcohol delivered to you from restaurants. They give you drinks. Bars were open. You could drink, right? They made sure of it. And it's just so crazy to me. So crazy to me that you could get fast food, but they don't want you to have your fruits. They don't want you to have your vegetables. They would close off the area where you could buy seeds to grow your own produce. Do you remember that? That was really freaky to me. And I will never forget that. But I'm going to stop that there. I get so rambled because I get so pumped about that. I get so pumped about healing my body and the world and the spirit and the magic. And I love it. I love it. That makes me pumped. That's what I'm passionate about. And so I guess we should talk more about that. But so if you ever want to contact me, you always know that you can. Email me, find me on Instagram. I do have my website, but it's just, I haven't been on there, and I'm trying to. I'm currently writing an article now, just kind of talking about all of that. And I will get that set up when I have the time. It's hard with the baby, it's so hard. And but we're figuring it out. We are, and it's gonna be great. I'm headed towards beautiful things, and I'm looking forward to it. I just have to buckle down, get through this internship, and just keep on going. Thank you so much, as always, for being here. And if there's any way I can pray for you, let me know, and I will make that happen. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.